Welcome to this episode of Wiki Walks, a short podcast devoted to some of the more intriguing and, who knew, articles that you can run across in the weird world of Wikipedia. I'm your host, Chris Grismer. All right, folks, buckle up for another venture into the hidden corners of history on this episode of Wiki Walks. Today we're setting our sights on a fascinating slice of the African diaspora you've likely never heard of, the Merikins of Trinidad. Merikins. Merikins. You've heard of America. This is Merikins. Long predating America. The what of the who now? The Merikins? What is this? Well, it all traces back to the War of 1812 between the United States and Britain. As part of their war efforts, the British pulled a move straight out of the Revolutionary War playbook. They recruited free black slaves to join the Corps of Colonial Marines and fight against the American colonies. 6 companies of these African recruits helped patrol the Atlantic coast. I get it. When the war ended in 1815, the British had a choice to make about these black military conscripts. Some were offered a chance to re-enlist, but others were extended a tantalizing prospect: full freedom and land grants to resettle in the British Empire's colonies in the Caribbean. The Merikins, as they came to be known, chose the latter. Over 500 former soldiers, plus about 200 women and children, made the trek to the island of Trinidad. The British governor wanted to boost the number of small farmers, so he parceled out 16-acre plots to each Merikin soldier in the island's south. It was a literal fresh start from scratch. They had to clear forests, build homes, and get crops like bananas and cassava growing from the fertile soil. Not everyone was sold on the backbreaking work of starting a village from nothing. Some settlers were so disgruntled that they actually returned to America. But the ones who stayed persevered, maintaining their tight-knit English-speaking Baptist community identities from places like Georgia and Virginia. And in that preservation of tradition, they often blended Christianity with African spiritual practices. Over generations, the American settlements transitioned from subsistence farming to lucrative cash crops like cocoa and sugarcane. When oil was discovered, some could lease their ancestral lands for mineral rights and further economic gains, some becoming inordinately wealthy. All from those first pioneering settlers who took a gamble on a new life in Trinidad. It's a truly unique crucible of African, American, and Caribbean identities all rolled into one community. The Merikins maintained their ties to their roots while adapting to the new island's home reality and cultures. Their legacy endures to this day. They are still there in the original village lands and keeping many of their quintessential blend of spiritual traditions. So, that's kind of interesting, huh? You ever heard about that one? I realize it's a footnote of the War of 1812 that turned into an entire culture's origin story. So the next time you visit their southern shores, be sure to roll through a Merikins village and experience their resilient and amalgamated heritage for yourself. Because if we've learned time and time again on WikiWalks, the most fascinating brushstrokes of world history often arise from the most unexpected places, from Trinamam to Trinidad.